Hello, everyone. This is Professor Austin. I wanted to take some time to discuss the chart audit assignment for Module 6. I've received a couple of texts and some emails regarding what to do with the assignment. I don't want you guys to get into a frenzy with this. Really, chart auditing, and that is a professional career. Basically, you are taking a medical record and you are reviewing what the coder has already coded for that particular chart. So you now, as the auditor, are going through this, making sure that everything has been coded correctly, and if it hasn't, then you're going to list your comments, you're going to add things, or you're going to take things away. So with this, of course, you're supposed to pull up your medical record that is listed in Module 6, and you're going to basically code it. I would code the medical record as you would normally do, okay? Code it for yourself and see what you come up with. You can also use what's listed here on the worksheet as a guide because this is what the coder has listed. This is what the coder has actually coded the record to be. Okay, so I've added a couple of things here just to kind of give you guys a jump start. But again, just to kind of backtrack before I go into this, code the medical record yourself. See what you come up with. See if you're actually comfortable with what is listed here from the other coder. And as the directions say here, if the code is correct, then you're going to enter C. As you can see, I have C for the first one. If it's for letter B, if the code is missing, add it to the reviewer code column next to the last available blank facility code space and place the letter M in the assessment column. For the letter I, okay, so if you identify an incorrect code, so wrong specificity, missing digit, or that should say character, is reported into the correct code into the reviewer column in the field next to the word code. And as far as for the letter X, if the code needs to be deleted because it's either not supported by documentation or because it's not reportable based on the UHDDS definition, you want to place the letter X in the assessment column, okay? So here we go. So we have the codes listed here, and as a tip to you, there are actually, what is listed here, that is the correct amount of codes, okay? So all you're going to do is take that medical record, code it yourself, and now come up with whatever you have and see if you're comfortable with what the coder has listed. Because again, you're just double checking the coder's work. So R42 is what the coder has listed. So that particular code represents dizziness and giddiness, and this is for the admitting diagnosis. So I put the letter C for correct. No, I'm sorry. If the code, yes. So if the code is correct, there's no need for change. You're going to put the letter C. Okay. Now, again, the comments that I have here is just my own little notes because I am doing this for you guys. So you could put down whatever you want under the reviewer comments, especially for R42. If it's if you just want to say it was documented as such, you know, that the patient is experiencing dizziness, you know, anything that kind of supports your decision as to why you're putting down the letter C. So going forward, we have the diagnosis G20, which represents Parkinson's disease. So the coder has listed this as the principal diagnosis, okay? This is also correct. If you read the medical record and if you review it, and especially starting with the discharge summary, you want to check it out and see what the physician has documented, okay? And also you want to look in the medical record just to make sure that that is listed. But whatever the final decision is, and of course we are going by the UHDDS principal diagnosis definition. That is what is going to help you guys determine what is the principal diagnosis. So as I have here, G20 represents the Parkinson's disease. This admission can be attributed to the admission. Okay, or the encounter. So again, when you're asking yourself what is the principal diagnosis, remember this is from way back in module 1. The definition of a principal diagnosis, if you don't remember anything else, is basically the condition established after study. So why is this person here? What brought the person here? So yes, we have the admitting diagnosis, but that does not stand for the principal diagnosis. So again, I've used this example over and over. The admitting diagnosis could be shortness of breath and wheezing, but after your testing, you saw that the patient has asthma. So now we're going to place that as the principal diagnosis. So you can list the wheezing and shortness of breath for admitting, but the condition after study, after they've done all those tests to see why they're truly here, is going to be asthma. That is what you need to place down for the principal diagnosis. So in this case, it will be the Parkinson's disease. Why is it? Because it is an attribute, or it has attributed to the encounter, the admission. Okay. Another diagnosis, I 63.9, cerebral infarction. That's what that represents for. Now, this diagnosis was not confirmed. So somewhere in that medical record, it may have been listed, but it's not confirmed. Okay, so in that case, we cannot code that. We can only code what has been confirmed by the physician. Okay, not the nurse and anyone else. Okay, the next one, F10.21, represents I. I is this code stands for alcohol dependence in remission. So now the H&P, or the history and physical, documents history of alcoholism, but in a discharge summary, it lists alcohol abuse. And because it is listed there by the physician, by the attending, we have to go with what he has documented. So going back up, I represents, if you identify an incorrect code, okay? So this was coded incorrectly by the coder, all right? So because this has, again, the specificity is a little bit off, because if you were reading this, you may think that we should give this like a history code or somewhat, or that they're not truly having any issues with it. However, the discharge summary, which is the final piece of the entire medical record, remember the discharge summary gives you a total synopsis of the current state of the patient's health, okay? And it is documented by the attending. Okay, so since the attending has stated that this is truly alcohol abuse, we have to code it as such. So the coder coded this wrong, so therefore we will put an I next to incorrect, and then you're just going to give your comments as to why you have chosen that this is incorrect. So I don't want you guys, I think you guys were like getting a little bit too deep with this. Again, you're just making sure what the coder has listed is correct. As you can see, we came up with various scenarios. We have a couple of correct codes. We have codes that are incomplete, okay, and some that we may need to add or what have you, okay, or it may need to be deleted, okay. So for the rest of the assignment, this is what you should do. You should just go through each code, make sure that it's correct. If it isn't, then you're going to place whatever letter here, help support that. And then, of course, your comments. You want to place something there that will support it as well. I think this should help you guys. Of course, I think I had a text message regarding when should you code history codes. So basically this goes back to what I've listed in module 1 and 2. Remember, within the medical record is a legal document. So it's going to have everything about the patient in there. Every bits and pieces about the patient's history, or the medical history, I should say, will be listed in the medical record. However, when you get into like history codes, things that have happened 3 years ago, or even a year ago, or maybe 6 months ago, if it has no bearing on the current encounter, we should not code it. So if you're talking about fractured rib in 1996 and the principal diagnosis is talking about breast cancer, we don't need to pick that up. It has no bearing on the current encounter, okay? But like in this case, if we're talking about Parkinson's disease, or and maybe, again, I'm just making this stuff off the top of my head. So we know that the Parkinson's disease is the principal diagnosis, but maybe in the medical record you guys see that the mother passed away with Parkinson's disease at the age of 45. That is something that you want to pick up as far as like a history code, because it has a bearing on the current encounter. It has something to do with what is currently happening today. Okay. Even if we're still focusing on the Parkinson's as the principal diagnosis, and again, I'm making this stuff up, and then maybe you may find in the medical record that the patient is experiencing a lump in the right breast, but you also see 2 years ago the patient had the left breast removed. That is something that you want to pick up because it has a bearing on the current encounter. So you will pick up a history code as far as like absence of an organ, meaning her breast was removed. And you will also code like the right breast mass because this is currently going on. So hopefully that answers the question. So again, with the history codes, I know you probably want to just code them all, but you can't. Only code the codes that have an effect on the current encounter today. Okay, if it's affecting the patient's management of care during this encounter, you're going to code it. Of course, you're going to code chronic conditions. Okay, so like this alcoholism, that is a chronic condition. You have to pick that up. Chronic conditions we cannot ignore because 9 times out of 10, they're on some type of long-term regimen, and this stuff doesn't go away overnight. Okay, so even if the patient came in, we noticed that she has Parkinson's disease, and you also read in the medical record that the patient has asthma. She's not having any issues with the asthma, but she does have it. You're still going to pick it up because that's a chronic condition, and I'm pretty sure she's on some type of medication to help treat it. But, at this current time, she may not have any flare-ups or whatever. However, that is a chronic condition, so you're still going to pick it up. Same thing with maybe hypertension. Right now, the medication seems to be working. There hasn't been a hike in the blood pressure so far, but however, this is still a chronic condition that is being treated. So therefore, we have to pick it up. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense to you guys, and remember the number of codes that's listed here is the only codes that you should have, so that should help you all out for the remaining of the assignment. And then again, like I said, just code it yourself, come up with your codes, or you can just review what's listed here from the coder's perspective, and just go through the medical record to see if everything is legit. If those codes are valid, then yeah, we're going to put a C by it. If they're incorrect, then we're going to identify that with the I. And then again, just don't forget to, and I'm not looking for some type of lengthy message on the comment box side. I just need something to say why you actually support it, or you think it should be deleted, or whatever it is that you are choosing to do. Okay. So take this. Please don't stress out about this assignment. And if you cannot, if you cannot get the DRG, that is totally okay. I'm not taking off for the DRG as well. So if you get it, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. I'm not taking off for the DRG because I know that within Contegrity, it's kind of crazy to kind of get, and I know this is kind of last minute, so I don't want you guys to stress out about that as well. Okay, so hopefully this helps, and I just wish you all good luck, and make sure that everything is submitted to me by tomorrow night by midnight. Thank you.